Hey everybody, welcome back to For the Long Haul podcast. Right now we're in our pre-show banter, what we call Before the Long Haul. If you guys want to get to the main episode today, skip to about 5 minutes. And until then, Blaine, how have you been?
Good, man. It's everything's been going well. We just enjoyed Easter and got some stuff I needed to get done labor wise, like maintenance on my vehicles and
And randomly went to your parents' house too?
well, it's not randomly like that was just convenient. Like I was just gonna go that weekend anyways,
Well,
and
like I
then
feel like it was random because it was Easter, but you guys didn't do anything, so I feel like that was just like a random. It's like, oh,
like I was planning to go and I did know it was Easter, and then I found out it was Easter. So yeah, it
okay,
had nothing to do with it being Easter that I was going.
just pure coincidence.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, coincidence
Mhm.
for me. But yeah, what about you, man?
Uh, so I was walking east, as you know, because we met up right before you left town. But
Mm-hmm.
that day before, I went over to Dallas to meet up with my some of my family and all that. My dad's brother and his family and all that. That I actually know them pretty well and all that. One of the few family members I actually know pretty well because when you have about 16 aunts and uncles, and that's combining both sides, you tend not to, at least for me, you don't tend to remember everybody, especially whenever your parents are like, hey, your aunt, your uncle's coming over, your cousins. And you have to be like, which one?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what do you mean, which one? I'm like, you know how many I have.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying your aunt and uncle or your aunt is coming over, your uncle's coming over, your cousins doesn't clarify who it is.
Uh-huh.
Especially when I don't see half of them 90% of the time anyway, and I maybe see most of them once every 5 years.
Wow. We don't have anywhere near like family get-togethers like that. We don't have that many people that it's just like grandma, grandparents, a few aunts and uncles, and that's
But
it.
like, it's not even that we all get together. It's just like when typically I see most of them whenever I go to Mexico, or like half of them when I
Hmm.
go to Mexico. Then maybe once within like 5 years, one of them will come down, or we'll somehow bump into one of them, or like we'll both be going to Mexico at the same time.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, oh hey, how you been? Like, I think last time I saw my cousin Luigi was one Christmas when we were still in high school, and
Luigi too. That's cool.
he is probably 2 or 3 years older than us. I I think he was in college back then. Whenever I
Mm-hmm.
last saw him, and that's the last I know him. Last thing I know besides that is that he was dating I think a Korean chick, and they've been dating for a pretty long time. And he was learning Korean, and she was learning Spanish.
Wow. Okay, cool. Are they still together?
I have no clue. Like I said, I unfortunately don't talk to that much of my extended family just because I we've never really got together that much.
Uh-huh. Wow.
And the ones I went to go see, like one of them is a senior. I went to her quinceañera. And the other one, he's like a junior in high school. I met them a couple of times, like and I actually know their names and all that. I can remember them and all that. And then
Mm-hmm.
my uncle, he's one of the few ones I can remember on my dad's side.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I'm like, oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about and all that. Mostly because whenever we went to Mexico when I was a little kid, he was always there too, and all that.
Okay.
And then his wife too.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I don't it's kind of neat. Some like the Spanish families, they seem to me they always seem like they always have like a net, like a big net of family, like going this way and that way and this way.
Oh yeah, like they used to live in Ohio. Now they live down here, down in Texas, and I still have like two, I think two uncles and their families that live in Ohio. And
Mm-hmm.
then I have another uncle that lives this. I have an aunt that lives somewhere in Dallas too. I have no clue where she lives, and on my mom's side. Then my dad's other brother lives somewhere on the other side of Dallas. He has like trash business.
Okay.
And then I have my aunt and uncle that live in town too. And I think I have some extended family in Claiborne, and that's all I can
Okay.
remember.
Dude, I thought about like having like that trash business, for example, right? Like this apartment complex, it's mandatory that the people who rent pay for the trash service. And like so somebody comes after 8 p.m., like 8 to 9, he comes and picks up all the trash. Like how much is that guy making for daily trash service pickup from the apartment complex? I reckon it's not too bad.
Oh,
And then if
also,
you have several of those you go do in one night, but that's where it ends because we have now hit 5:30.
Oh, 5:30 for us, 5 o'clock for y'all, or
Yeah,
5 minutes for y'all.
there you go.
But anyway, so today's episode is gonna be a life update episode.
Well,
So,
hey everybody, welcome back to the
Oh.
Ford Long Haul Podcast. If you've been here with us this whole time, great. If not, that's cool too. Thanks for jumping to 5 minutes to hang out with us. So, on this episode of Ford Long Haul Podcast, today we're going to talk about just a life update
yeah.
and everything like that.
So since we last did a life update, one of the big things that have changed for me is I did my job at the movie studio and started working for a different company, and actually didn't tell anybody about me going through the interview process until I officially got the job. I remember I randomly mentioned it to you on one of our episodes, and you were like,
Yep.
wait, what? And I
Mhm.
explained that I didn't tell nobody. No, none of our friends really knew. Maybe one of them thought I was doing it because I asked him about it. Other than that, nobody really had any clue about it. Maybe two people. I think only two people knew anything. I told them, it's like, hey, it's like, this is what's going on right now.
You had no idea, and you were like, "Today's my last day," and I was like, "What do you mean today's your last day?"
Yeah. Well,
You're
see,
like,
it's because I didn't like whenever I was just doing DoorDash to get by, and I was applying to jobs, and I told people, I was like, oh yeah, I applied to this. They're like, oh yeah, you got this, you got this. Rejection letter, rejection letter, rejection letter, rejection letter, and I kind of like, I didn't like, and like, they got me hyped up because they're my friends and all that. They wanted me to like, they had my back, but after that, like, be like, oh yeah, I got this, rejection letter, rejection letter, rejection letter. I'm like, God damn it. It's like, I got a little bit down, and like, I was like, I'm not gonna put my hopes on this. It's just like, if it happens, it happens. If not, I'm not,
yeah.
But it happened, and I'm liking it. It's so far so good. It's my second highest paying job ever.
That's not too bad. And you got something for now, and that'll keep you going. And that made me think about something. You talk about rejection. Top 1% income in the world. We talk about like get these different jobs or whatever and stuff that we don't think is very good. So I think this doesn't show me. I heard this. I didn't fact check this at all. Oh wait, here it is. This is what I wanted. And this, I don't know. I assume this is true. Not for sure fact checked. But speaking of like rejection, this, or maybe take a job you don't really want, or this, that, and the other. Like, oh, it's not as much pay as I would like. But here's the thing. And we're like, oh, you take this job, I'll work it for a year, and then maybe we'll, move on to this and other thing, like whatever you're doing. It is not where you want to be at financially, for example. Here's something to think about that made, like, I never thought about this, but when I heard it, I was like, no joke, man. So to make it into the 1%, like the top, 1%, like 1% of earners, like in America, or those examples we use, the top 1%, like bracket globally. So put everybody together in the world. All you need is an income of $34,000.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense because, that also makes sense for two reasons. You got to think about about the about like the conversion of money in different countries, how much that's worth and all that, and cost of living and all that in other countries and all that, and like some of them are undeveloped, or
exactly,
or like how, I don't know how this is true now, but
I mean, this website, this says from 2012.
Back about 20 years ago, the vast majority of China was, I believe, rural, and like, it wasn't even like our hometown and all that. It was like, really rural and all that.
Yeah.
And like, that people lived in poverty and all that, then
yeah. And then so like that's something like that, literally just like if you are earning 1%, that's like, $40,000 or whatever, let's say. And that's, averaging everywhere. Yeah, some places are really expensive to live. Like you're not going to live anywhere in New York for $40,000, but that's just like you can live other places in the United States.
I was thinking Dubai when you said that. I was thinking Dubai. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Well, I'm thinking about the United States. I have no idea what Dubai's like. Besides, everything seems expensive. But like literally, just like you can make $40,000 and make the right choices. but look at you. You've got so much. Like I have so much. I have so much around me right now. Like there's such abundance in my life, and
But I
it's
think it
awesome.
also depends on what you want in life. Because I remember, um, back in like this has to be within the past 5 years. Me and my dad were walking down the street in Mexico, and basically like a lot of my family is where our house is at now. I don't think we had the house at the time. I think we're still being built,
Mm-hmm.
but we bumped into somebody that he used to work with that was up here, but now was back down in Mexico. And he was like, "Hey, what you doing here?" It's like, "Oh, it's like life's better for me down here than up in the States because over there it's like hustle bustle. You gotta you're just like moving like bustle hustle bustle bustle, and over there for her it's more like relaxed, calm, and all that. Like not of the whole, which I agree. Like the way we are here, it's more like we really don't get a time to enjoy. We really don't get time to enjoy stuff and all that. It's mostly like
Yeah.
walk. Basically, like
Yeah.
over there, like they're walking all that, but like at least for her, it was like they were like a little more relaxed and all that. Like not worrying about like paying all this stuff too that we pay.
So like, if you were to break that down a little bit more, like what would that mean differences wise?
Well,
Can you explain that more?
Well, if I understood it correct, like they didn't have all the bills to pay. Like, I mean, yeah, you still have bills to pay. You got to pay your rent, you got to pay your water, electricity, and all that. But I guess like for her, like it wasn't so much. I guess like I don't know, because like this is how she was like saying it and all that, and this is a while ago, but like she said like over here it's like more hustle and bustle, more like everything's fast, like
Yeah.
you got to be busy and all that. Over there, she didn't feel like that as much and all that. Like more
But
relaxed and all that.
I mean, I think I hear because it's like the style here is hustle versus not as much there.
Yeah,
And but other than that, is it like her bills are cheaper there? I mean,
I
a
I
standard of
I would
living.
assume so. I'm not sure. We didn't talk about all that much. We just talked a little bit because like she had to go on her way, I had to go on my way and all that.
You don't know any background stuff like maybe she has a house that's paid for or lives with
No,
somebody.
I don't know who this is. My dad knew who. I didn't.
Oh,
I've
okay.
only bumped into a couple of people I know in Mexico. One of them was like literally randomly on the streets. A guy that used to work for my dad, and I recognized me, and I knew him. Like it was like, "Hey, Brandon," and I was like, "What the?" I was like, and like, I looked around, and then like he was across the street, and then he like
Uh-huh.
crossed over. It's like, "Hey, Brandon, how you doing?" I was like, "Oh," it's like, "Oh, good to see you," and like because I knew who he was. I was like, "Oh, good to see you," and all that.
Mhm.
And it's like, "I didn't expect to see you here," and all that. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. Well, yeah, just that's something I felt like was a cool thing to think about. Wrapping back, it's
Yeah.
just like people. The average American earner, I think, is 53 or something thousand, for the person average earner. I think it's around that number, maybe like up now or something. It goes up every year, but yeah, top 1% of the world is only $34,000. I just think about like the how like blessed that we are with everything that we have now. And some people may not feel that same way. You may not feel the same way I do in terms of like where you're at versus where I'm at. And we're not in really different spots, but like mentally, you know, that's two completely different scenarios and factors and everything else. But I just think like I could be unhappy with what I have, and it would if I would think about it, it would be hard. But I think at the same time, it's you just look at what like the things that you have around you and everything that you are able to have at this exact moment, and that's just it's so much like it's just a great time to be around, be alive, and everything else. So yeah, I guess if you want to wrap that all the way back and put a little package, put a bow on it, and just go pull the strings out, I'm feeling pretty good. Not
Yeah.
every day is the best day ever, but feeling pretty good.
So what's one big thing from you since the last little life update we did, which was technically in December. Remember that?
December. Ah. Um, I guess since it was like starting a new position at the company I work at
Hmm?
would be, and I feel like I've may have probably mentioned something like that, but that's the thing that's happened since December, and so I've started into a new position, And so instead of doing the sales like I was doing now, I do operations and running those items there. So fun. I do work a slightly less predictable schedule, which is fun. Long term, don't like. But in the meantime, between now and the next thing, I do enjoy it. It's cool. It allows me to have flexibility in my schedule and take flexibility where I want it in different places as well, which is really neat too. And so, given that, it kind of gives some autonomy into the schedule, which is neat. And so, kind of flex it where I need to flex it. Same time, sometimes you got to work like late in the evening one day, but like that's fun too. And so I do enjoy it. I enjoy where it's at and everything like that. So what about? I guess that would be one big thing that's changed between now and then. What about you, Brandon? Since the beginning.
Let's see. So the big one, we went over the big one. Well, okay. Well, this is something I gotta mention that because I did talk about this before we left, that I was entering. At that time, I was entering a Pokemon Go tournament over in Arlington, like around the time we recorded that episode and all that. And let me just, in case because I think I mentioned this in one episode, but in case you didn't see that episode and all that, it was a double elimination tournament and all that. So lost my first round because it was best out of three and all that. So lost my first one because I won one, they won one. Then we had to go to like third round. They won that barely, if I remember correctly. So I had to go. Okay. So we went down to the loser bracket. I went down to loser bracket. My opponent for that first round in the loser bracket never showed up, so I got an automatic dub.
Okay.
Oh wait,
well, I thought that's what happened. It sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Then we went to the third round. Then I went to the second round of the loser bracket and all that. Faced against somebody else. That one was a really close game. It was like I won the first one. No, I won the first one. He won the second one. He barely won the third one.
Okay.
So then I got knocked out, and I was like, okay, hey, I know a lot of these other people, they have more experience in the competitive aspect of this. I literally started the competitive aspect of this 2 months ago, just started fresh, barely knew anything. Mm-hmm. And since then, I've actually joined a Discord group that hosts competitions every month. So that way I want to get practice because I would like to try that again to see if, like, because who knows, best case scenario, maybe I can be like that Rick and Jerry from that Rick and Morty episode of season 3, episode 1. It's like, I don't know how I got you. I just kept on calling and it kept on walking.
Oh my god, dude, that could happen. That's in the cards.
Yeah, it's like because like who knows? Maybe that will happen one day. Who knows? Anyway, like it's something to do. Like a little bit of fun and all that, and who knows? Maybe I meet some other people and all that. I did meet some. I did actually meet up with me and Jade both did meet up with the guy that we met via Instagram and all that. Mm-hmm. Over there at Arlington, we talked to him for a little bit and met up in person and all that. And then we had to go to the tournament. He was gonna go meet up with other people and all that, but we actually did meet up for a little bit and all that. That was kind of fun too.
That's cool. Yeah, you never know where these things take you. Like it could be like the silliest thing. And it's like, oh, I'm into plants and I go to like a plant class. And next thing you know, you meet somebody and like you make a lifelong connection. You get an opportunity to work at like I don't know, like let's say something that's in like botany or whatever. Like I think that's the profession that is into plants.
Yeah, botany is I think the study of plants and all that.
Okay, so like for example, like you're already interested in that kind of thing, and you're like, oh, I just never got into it. And he's like, why don't you come work for me? Like, I mean, anything could happen from anything.
Well, actually, there is something that that if you don't mind me just going off, there's something that did happen to me. That's basically going to lead off of what you said, if you don't mind me.
Okay, is this the thing you were supposed to tell me about, but you were waiting?
Yes.
Okay.
So, one of my old coworkers at the job I had when I was editing photos for the real estate media company called me because, like, he got an op because he does a TikTok, like a video game TikTok, like where he shows collections, like gives tips, tricks, and all that. And like he also runs like a store where he sells like old video games and all that too, like an online store, not like a physical store and all that.
Yeah.
He called me one day saying apparently one of his videos got blown up, and he got invited at I think it's Fan Expo in Dallas in the summer. He got invited to go there and do some interviews with some of the guests and all that at Fan Expo.
That's cool.
And he called me saying, "Hey, I'm gonna need help editing the videos and the photos and all that. Would you mind doing this for me? We're gonna be doing some interviews with the guy from Blue's Clues. I think somebody that voiced one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Power Ranger. I can't remember which one he
That's
told
cool.
me. I was
Okay.
like, okay, okay. And then he said, uh, oh my god, I'm forgetting the actor's name, but Anakin Skywalker from
Oh
the
yeah.
prequels. He mentioned it. I was like, wait. You want me to edit the video where you're interviewing him? Hayden Christensen. Oh my god, I cannot remember that for some reason. It's like, you want me to edit the video where you do that for him and all that? It was like, say less, say less. You didn't have to tell me you were paying me. I was already on board when you said that.
That's
Because
cool.
I get to add that to my portfolio, make that look beautiful and all that. Add that to my portfolio, and boom, I got something for my video stuff to
Well,
show
that's really
people.
cool. That's
And
great.
I was
And
like,
it's like some brand name people too.
I wasn't expecting that. I was like walking. It was like a Sunday. I was walking and all that, and it was like, oh yeah, it's like, he also like mentioned some other stuff that like he's trying to do and all that, and like he would like me to help him out with that, and like use my skills and all that to help him and all that. And I was
Hmm.
like, say less, just keep me in the loop on all this. I'll be down for this.
That's cool, man. I
So like
wonder.
it just shows like like you were saying like because like I talk to him every now and then, like we don't talk that often, but every now and then I'm like, oh hey, have you been and all that? He goes, hey, have you been and all that? We talk a little bit and all that, and
You
every
made a
now and then I message
connection.
him if I'm trying to find something. Like I messaged him like a couple of weeks ago, being like, hey, by any chance, would you happen to have this accessory for this old handheld? I don't have mine and I need this. It was like a charger, I think I was
Uh-huh.
looking for. He was like, I think I do. Let me go double check. Next day he was like, hey man, sorry I don't. I was like, hey, no worry. Thanks for checking and all that. And boom.
Yeah, you made a
But
connection with somebody. You were an authentic individual,
yeah,
and
he's
this
like,
person's like, I know someone that would be great for this that I like.
yeah. So like I'm back to back that wrapping back to what you said and all that, like you never know, like uh, you never know what could happen when after you meet somebody and all that. Like they can be like, oh hey,
You
yeah, I
could
talk to
literally meet
guys.
this. You literally know this guy. You could literally go to this convention. He can do his videos. You can edit it for him, and he can literally, let's just say that's the magic spark. And then like
Yeah,
he starts getting big, and like you would literally probably be the guy to help him. Like if he needed to hire someone to do stuff, he would probably hire you
yeah,
to help with this stuff. And then you like that. That's it. One thing that could happen from all of this. And the next thing you know, you're helping him do this stuff. You're building a portfolio simultaneously while doing what you were wanting to do to some avenue. And then just wherever this goes. I mean, like anything.
yeah. Anyway, since I did two, why don't you try to do two and all that?
Me try to do two. Oh boy. Well, damn. I turned. Well, I feel like it's littler stuff. I don't know. I've been with Victoria for 4 years. We hit a 4 year anniversary since December. So me and my girlfriend, 4 years. That's a pretty big deal. Longest relationship I've ever been in, and we're going strong. And so that's a real big number two there. I'm 27 now. Wait, no, I'm not. I'm 26.
26.
I'm 26 now. She's about to be 27 tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow. And so she'll be 27 tomorrow. So there's that, her birthday, which that'll be this a post tomorrow?
Yeah, I can make it post tomorrow. I can make it
It
walk.
doesn't matter. Whenever this just happens to be tomorrow when we're recording. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's any kind of number two stuff. Other than that, there's not been a whole lot of significant little event. I mean, significant bigger events, I would say. Besides little things like that, and those aren't even that little, but you know, all sorts of fun stuff going on.
Well, I mean, I got like one or two more I can think of. Like this is probably like really recent, like probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I kind of stopped using my. I guess it's kind of. It wasn't supposed to be my personal TikTok account. It's supposed to be like one I made just to throw away because I wanted to watch this series on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I made it, and then I ended up actually using it as my personal TikTok, but I actually may delete it and then make another one to use in a in a week or two. Who knows? But
Okay.
I stopped getting on that one and only going on the podcast on the Pokemon one I made for the Pokemon podcast
Uh huh.
because So if okay, so I want to go back a little bit. So people that don't know and all that, basically how Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whenever the videos and all that you watch, or like stuff like that has videos based and all that. The way you get recommended videos is based off an algorithm, and that typically it's like stuff you like. If you watch like a bunch of sports stuff like soccer, football, and all that, it's gonna recommend you more. But it's also gonna be like, hey, people that like soccer and football videos also like I don't know barbecuing videos, so they're gonna start recommending you more. They're gonna recommend barbecue videos to you too, and all that.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff. So on that one, I ended up following um some anime, some comics, news, finance, and all that kind of stuff. And then it kind of started to get. I guess I might have liked one video, and it kind of just started recommending me videos of what kind of like it was like. People were like, it was basically people were like just talking about it's like, hey, oh my god, it's gonna be so bad, the crash is gonna happen. Watch, blah 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 blah, like and like I try to be somebody that tries to be informed because I know it's important to be informed about what's going on in certain aspects of the world for myself and all that. Finance and like how the economy is doing is one of them.
Yeah.
But I feel like to an extent, I will say to a fraction, yes, I should know what these guys are talking about because they were talking about something that is going to have an effect. I will admit that to an extent, but I feel like a lot of these people were like fear mongering.
Oh, it's just clickbait crap. Like they are saying something that's legitimate and with impact. With either positive or negative is unforeseen, but we'll do most likely this or most likely that. But literally, like you said, it's like fear mongering. Like they're literally like, this is going to be the next crash. Watch. And, when they're doing all this stuff and it's just like watching, like, I don't watch the news and I probably would, but it's just like, if you turn on like any kind of news, like Fox or CNN or something, it's just like crap, really, like stuff on repeat. It's not nothing that's like good stuff, like,
which is interesting because like so anyway, like that was honestly just adding a bunch stress to me because like some of the other financial stress I was feeling, so I kind of just like I was like, you know what, this is honestly not good for me right now. I need to just switch to the podcast one and not opening unless I'm posting a video though. And it's weird because like usually whenever I follow the news and all that kind of stuff, it never got to that point, but this time it did.
Yeah.
Which is a force for me. And I was like, it could be because like,
you get out of that. It takes a minute, but you don't like them and you skip them quickly. You don't stay on them and watch them. You got to go past them because it knows when you stop and watch.
Yeah.
And so as long as you don't like them and you don't send them and you flip by them, they will go away. Because I used to have, every time I open Instagram, it would open on something. I'm like, oh, this looks kind of cool. And it would refresh to a naked woman, pretty much. And I was like, I like women. So
I'm going to assume this is like single or like high school Blaine too. Is like, okay.
No. This was like a year ago because what happened? We didn't have this problem.
Just blame Craig. Just blame Craig.
No. This is Craig's fault. Because he started sending me this stuff. So I started sending him this stuff. And then because of that, every time we opened Instagram, there was a woman on there every time, like shaking her butt or something. And so I blame Craig. And how I got away with this is we stopped sitting at to each other. And every time it showed up, I flicked past it because I'm like, I want to open Instagram if I'm out in public or at work or something. And then like, if I'm like, I'm in a downtime, if I decide to open it or on lunch, I don't want there to be a woman that shows up wearing fishnets. It's pretty much naked while I'm at work or in public. And it's just like, I can't do this. Like, I'll be like, dude, what the fuck are you watching, bro? Yeah. So, yeah, like, it's Craig's fault. But yeah, if you don't like it, whatever, go buy it. It'll go away. So I don't get that stuff anymore. Like, I get bike stuff that shows up and other things, but I no longer have the women's stuff. They do peak every now and again trying to get you back, but you just got to keep going.
Yeah, but like, so like I was like, you know what, I need to take a break from this because this is just affecting me and like adding a lot more stress and all that. But speaking of finance, because it was like I think one finance video, like I was like, I was watching it and I liked it, and it wasn't too bad. Like talking about like, hey, this is what could happen, but then I guess it just went to the extreme for some reason,
Uh-huh.
which almost never happens to me. This is the first time it's happened to me, at least to my general remembrance. Maybe it happened once before. Who knows?
Okay.
But not to like I was like, you know what? I need to take a break from this and all that. Boom, boom. But speaking of the fight,
that's good to get out of that negative energy, honestly. Like I used to see that a lot too, and I was like, bro, it's just crap. There's 10 minutes of video, 30 seconds of the information I want, and 9 minutes and 30 seconds telling me why I need to freak the hell out.
but see, like because I say like I didn't know about one of the things they were talking about. So I did a little bit of research and I was like, oh, okay, this isn't just BS. So saying this does have similar or some of the foundation to why they think it could happen does have some legitimacy and all that. Yeah, but I think they just cranked it up to 11 to 12 just to freak people out.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, back to the whole finance things. This is gonna happen this week. One of my cars is gonna be paid off after a long time.
Ooh.
And also, another big thing that happened was this happened as I was before the whole negative thing happened with TikTok and all that. I saw learn more about balance transfers for credit cards and all that because I've heard about it, but I never really knew about it.
Yeah.
Did some research and all that, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait for it to pay off my car. Which, oh yeah, that did happen too. My car's paid off. March was technically April was the first month I didn't have a payment.
Well, damn, dude, that's great. Congrats.
Yeah, like about a year and a half early too.
Wow.
So
heck yeah, dude, no payment now. You got no car payment. Isn't that great?
Yeah, except I got a couple of letters from a dealership saying, "Hey, you want to trade in your car?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to have a payment for at least 2 years."
I'll try. I'm going as long as I can without getting another vehicle.
Yeah, I want to go at least 2 years.
I want to go till this thing doesn't run. If it lasts 10 years more, hell yeah. But stuff's working. I gotta fix my switches. I got a light going on one of the switches. Like
you guys still good for you guys.
Oh, it's good.
You guys still good for at least another 5-10 years, probably.
I mean, probably as long as I take care of it. But sometimes you have the one vehicle out of 1,000 for some reason that encounters an early problem. Like for some reason, yours had a bad gear in the transmission or something, and like it busts and goes. Or I don't know how. I haven't worked on a transmission. I don't know how things work in there in terms of braking. But that's just an example. Like now, I need to buy a new transmission because it just.
Unless you somehow go over 100,000 miles, but I don't see that happening on your truck.
I'm over 100,000 miles, brother. I have 130,000 miles.
Oof.
I used to drive to school. I got it when I had 30,000 miles in 2015.
Oof.
So we're now 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 years, and I've put on 100,000 miles.
Because it's 100. Bad. It's 100,000 miles when you gotta stop worrying, right? Because of the engine. Or is
something like
500,000 miles?
No, it's not 500. It's like 100,000 miles. They say, okay, now your vehicle's getting older. And like typically it's pretty true, but I do have a V8 which lasts longer. It doesn't have to work as hard to accelerate the same amount as other cars that have less cylinders. I also have this, it's a Chevy 1500, and those motors last a very long time. So betting on longevity here.
So anyway, back to what I was saying real fast after we got off that little side tangent. But so I decided to do a balance transfer. I decided to apply for a new credit card, see if I got approved for it. Okay. If I remember correctly, I didn't know how much the max for that card was.
Okay.
So I was like, let me try to do my entire balance on my other card that has a bigger balance on it.
Okay.
So, okay, but I also did the research and all that. I made sure I got one that was going to be, it's either 12 or 16 months that I'm not going to be charged interest. I can't remember which one. I got to double check on that.
Okay.
So I got a new credit card that I did the balance transfer on that's going to make it to where I don't have to pay interest on that for 12 or 16 months. One of the two. I can't remember which off the top of my head.
Okay.
So I decided to put in the full amount, not knowing what the balance was. I basically ended up maxing out the new one, or almost maxing it out, which I'm like, okay, that's bad initially, but I'll take the hit to my credit score at the moment because of the fact that it's gonna have a small payment to do for the next couple of months,
And you don't have
and
to
that's
buy anything. Like you're
and
not
that's
gonna
not
use your credit.
and that's not gonna be interest on it. So, and that split my big debt on my other credit card in half. It literally basically split it in half. So I'm like, okay, that's good. That this card's about to be paid off, and it also counted as a payment on the card, so I don't have to do a payment for April.
Wait, you use your balance transfer. Part of the car payment was put on your credit card?
No, no, no. So whenever I did the balance transfer on the credit card that had the big balance, whenever
Mhm.
I took the money out of that and put it in the other one, like the balance
Yeah.
or whatever was approved, that counted as a payment apparently.
Oh, okay. I bet you I haven't heard about that. But I bet you when you do a balance transfer, I think that your new company pretty much sends them a check for
Yeah,
that, and then they take the balance and then they charge you.
yeah.
Okay.
So I guess it counted as a payment, so I don't have to do a payment on that card for April.
So here's the thing. So you got a new card to do a balance transfer to have no interest on your one of your cards, pretty much.
Yeah.
So you decided to pay off your car loan first before paying off the credit cards?
Well, the car loan was gonna be done soon anyway. So I was like, I had a little bit. It was gonna be paid off within the next couple of months. I wanted to get one of my payments done soon, or
Uh-huh.
I want to get one of my debts down before I did the credit card thing, you know.
Yeah.
And the car was gonna be the one that was gonna be easy to pay off faster.
Mhm.
So I did that one, and then this month one of the other cards is gonna be paid off fully. If anything, maybe like $100 left on it, if that, at max probably on one of
Okay.
my other credit cards. And then boom, that's gonna be two debts down basically in 2 months.
There you go.
And then because of what I did on the balance transfer, it cut the balance. It cut the what I owed in half basically on the other
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
So that means I'm gonna be paying less interest. Well, the interest isn't gonna be as much because there's not as much money now, basically.
Right. And if you can pay it all off in, let's say, 12 months, your introductory period, what you should do is focus on paying entirely the other card that is now charging you interest and killing that balance.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
no,
finishing as long like and I believe
honest.
you should have plans to do that, but I don't
Oh no,
know.
no, no. Well, my plan is now gonna be focusing on the next one that has the next card that has interest, because the reason I got the one that had the no interest when I did a balance transfer was because no interest on it.
Uh-huh.
So that one I'm gonna be doing the minimum payments on. Well, I'm gonna be putting more money towards the other one now that has interest, because why wouldn't I?
There you go. Exactly.
And
Yeah,
then
start paying off your most expensive cards and boom, get it out the way.
and then what I think I'm gonna then what basically my plan is gonna be when the one that's gonna be paid off, I'm gonna basically be putting all my subscription services on.
Yeah, that's a way to do it. Get like a
And then
card that has subscription because if like I only pretty much use one, I use two cards really, and one of them has like a reoccurring one on it that shows up, and the other one has a different reoccurring one. But I also use those cards mostly. I use one card, let's just say 80% of the time, 15% one card, and then 5% another card.
and
And
then
then I
what I'm
have a
gonna
fourth card that I don't use at all, and I just have to buy something once every like 6 months.
so what my plan is gonna whenever I get the other card paid off, I may actually apply for another card,
No. Uh-huh.
because so and it's gonna be like one's for subscription services, one's gonna be for daily use, one's gonna be for like bigger stuff. The other one, the one that has a balance transfer, it seems to be gonna be the best one to use for grocery stores and gas stations. So gonna be using it for that because of cashback and all that.
Yeah.
And then the other one is gonna be uh basically gonna be just for Amazon.
You getting an Amazon card?
Because I was looking at Chase's website because that's where I got the balance transfer from.
Yeah.
And one of the ones that seems to be pretty good if you're gonna shop on Amazon and all that.
Yeah, it's 5% back on your Amazon.
Yeah, and I was
I
like,
always use Amazon. Like I wanted one of those, and that was the first card I applied for. Or no, it might have been the second. And they denied me, and I was like, "Are you serious?"
Which
And
one? Because it's two versions. It's two versions.
the good one, like the black one or whatever, the one that gives you $100,
Yeah.
not the smaller one.
Then I was like, you know what? Let me try to get that one too. So boom. So then I can just use that for Amazon stuff whenever I buy stuff on Amazon. Or if not, like, just so that way I can get the money back from that and all that.
Yeah.
The one for groceries and all that. The one for like just bigger stuff. Then the one that's just gonna be taking money from subscriptions and all that. And boom.
And now you're getting like more free money. Like you're gonna spend this money anyway.
Yeah.
Now you get cash back for it, and you don't lose money unless you carry a balance. Which, at this moment, you are carrying a balance, but at least you're getting, some cash back there. But the best world is that you have all these cards and you don't carry any balance, and that's what I've been doing I'm typically have always not carried a balance. I was in a position similar to yours where I started to not work enough, and I did work for a period of time, and then I gained a balance that I've stacked up on, which I believe is pretty much like your scenario. And then I boom started, my new endeavor, and then paid off all those and everything else. And so now like I don't carry any balance. I've spent a little too much in the last month. I feel like the last 30 days or so, my cards got some money on there. Obviously I have enough money. I'm going to pay them all off completely. But even then it's just like, damn, I spent that much. Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah. So for the most part, I don't think the one that's about to be paid off shouldn't have a balance. If anything, it may have a balance for 2 months again, because I'm debating on buying a bike, and apparently bikes can get expensive.
A bicycle?
Yeah, just a bike to just go ride around and be a little more active and all that.
Bro, you can get a bicycle for like $200.
Yeah, well, see, I didn't realize they were that expensive.
Well, you can get a shitty one from Walmart for like probably 50.
Yeah, okay. See, whenever I was looking on, because I want to get a decent one, I was like,
get a mountain bike.
It's like they're gonna be $300, $400. What? Why?
Oh, dude, Rhett and Link bought a $5,000 bicycle, bro.
I didn't realize they can get this expensive until I started researching them. I'm like,
everything can get that expensive. You want the nicest pin they've ever made? I probably have one for 20,000.
Okay. See, here's the thing about pins though. Since I started taking online courses and all that, and I started going from pencil to pen for notes, I become super picky when it comes to pens.
Okay.
I needed to have a fine point, like a really fine point. I can't have like the ones that are like a bulgy and like that smudge easily. Like
those cheap ballpoint pens suck. Like you can still do a ballpoint pen, but there's nicer ones.
I was talking to somebody about this. They're like, it's like, oh, I have to have this certain pen phase. They're like, don't worry, you'll go out of it. You'll go out of it. Because they were criticizing me about like why I'm using pens, and I'm like, and then like a long time after they criticized me about using pencil, I was going through notes. I was like, I need to use pen. I could barely read half of this.
In college, I went to pen. Yeah. And that was a great decision. Never have to sharpen it. Write forever.
No, it's not even that. It's just the fact that it was fading, and I was like, I can't read some of this stuff.
The pencil actually literally just fades.
Well, like it seemed like the writing was like
probably
a little
rubs
faded
in the papers and stuff. It moves around.
It looked like the writing was faded a little bit. So I'm like,
not to mention if you write lightly, like it doesn't.
Yeah. So I don't know what it was, because I was going over through some notes because I was going through one of my own notebooks for some reason. I don't know if I was trying to find like my old idea I had for something, or like old password or something. But I was doing something like that, going through my own notes, and I was like, I got. And I remember that. Then that conversation popped into the back of my head, and I was like, she used pen. And then I was like, I need to buy pens.
Yeah, I always would buy Pilot G2s.
Yeah.
They were 0.5 millimeter, I think. Yeah. 0.05. I don't remember.
Yeah.
All right, we made it.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it for today's episode. Let us know who you guys think had like the most change, like crazy stuff that happened to them in the past 4 months. Was it Blaine or was it me?
Definitely Brandon, but okay. Y'all get to make that decision, not us. But thanks for being here. Thanks for being with us. If you guys want to go check us out on Instagram, you can see that here on the screen if you're in the video version, or if you're on the audio, which is a podcast, that's For the Long Haul Podcast on Instagram. And then also, if you want to shoot us an email, if for sponsorship information or anything like that, business inquiries, so on and so forth, ftlhpodcast@gmail.com, just like For the Long Haul, ftlhpodcast@gmail.com. Now, we also have a YouTube channel. So if you guys want to check us out, you want to watch us, besides just listen to us and watch us at the same time, sometimes we show stuff on the camera. If you like having it on in the background of your TV in your room or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, we'd love to have you there. If not, audio version is great too. We're just happy you're here. So YouTube at For the Long Haul Podcast. Thanks everybody for being around.
And you guys have a good. Oh, my bad.
I'm good.
You guys have a good one. See you guys in the next episode.
Bye-bye now.